Toby Fox's familiar music style is rarely available in Deltarune, continuing to be a pleasant treat and easily enjoyable for anyone into Undertale's soundtrack. Although a number of tracks are slight remixes of songs from Undertale, the foundation of that game's soundtrack in the form of musical leitmotifs and repeated callbacks aren't present. Instead, tracks are more immediate and tend to feel more active, with flair and upbeat energy throughout. You're no longer partaking in an adventure by yourself, you're leading that adventure forward with others. The music does a great job to reflect this, even if the difference doesn't make itself too evident. No matter how long it takes for the rest of Deltarune to come out, the music for its first chapter already makes a lasting impression as the best of 2018.
There's no denying that Forza Horizon 4 is absolutely gorgeous. Though there are plenty of beautiful, scenic vistas for you to scope out while you're zooming around, and 4 seasons with their own distinct and beautiful looks, the real winner for Horizon 4's visuals is the ability to design liveries for vehicles. The possibilities within the engine are virtually limitless, and with an insanely creative and talented community at Forza's core, the dream of driving around the UK in a Lamborghini covered with pictures of your favorite Toho character is more accessible than ever. The creativity of Forza's community is practically infinite, and while I don't understand just how these talented people managed to create a perfect image of Hatsune Miku for every type of vehicle, I absolutely appreciate how easy it is to import these decals and make a lifted pickup truck with pictures of the virtual idol all over it.
In some ways, it almost feels too easy to pencil Crosscode in as my number one game of 2018, but really that's not the case. Crosscode succeeds on just about every level. It's got a great look and feel to its aesthetic, a pretty damn good soundtrack, and likeable, engaging characters fleshing out a colourful and unique world, a pretty special accomplishment in an era where there's no end to the I'm in a real MMO trope. What really makes Crosscode special though is its flow. Combat is fast, focused, and fun, with the game doing an excellent job of funneling players through quests on a constant basis to keep things fresh. Crosscode does such a good job at keeping things moving while winking at the camera just enough that even in its grindier moments, it almost feels like a parody of the kind of game design that's always kept me away from actual MMOs. It's a rare example of a game that I sit down at and happily lose myself in for hours, and as someone whose time to actually play games seems to be ever lessening, sitting down to play one and suddenly finding it to be 5 hours later is a rare blessing. I love Crosscode. I played it years ago as a demo, and I was so impressed that I purchased the game on the spot, even though it was in the early stages of early access. I didn't touch it again until it hit 1.0 a few months back, and I couldn't be happier that I waited. It's simply wonderful. It evokes classics like Illusion of Gaia, Terra Enigma, and Secret of Mana, while stamping out an identity and vibe that's entirely its own, and for that I love Crosscode, and it's my game of the year.
Tetris Effect was a stirring experience right near the end of 2018, and it may be hard to put a finger on exactly what was so affecting about it. Well, actually it isn't. It's the sound design. Without any kind of interesting narrative or metagame implemented, it would have been just another Tetris, but this game is carried entirely on the back of an incredible sound palette that evolves as you play. All of your most important button presses add new colors and emotions to the evolving soundscape. And it's hard to tell how far you've come in a level until the next level begins and you are left with a new blank canvas of silence to work from. My favorite level is a snowy level that I always call Disney's Frozen 2. Would you like to build a Russian snow wall? It starts with nature sounds of wind and snow crunching underfoot and then builds into the game's distinct pulsing EDM with really satisfying transitions and hooks that feel like you're climbing a big faux Disney Tetris mountain. Although, we really could have done with a more sensitive approach to the world tracks that end up largely reducing continents of people to the sounds of tribal chanting, the sounds of Tetris Effect transforms a well-beloved classic into something entirely new and unheard of before.
Here comes a mighty warrior!
Everything about Dragon Ball FighterZ oozes Dragon Ball, down to the admittedly silly choice for a title. The faux 2D visuals and the absolutely iconic sounds and the pure love for the game's source material create a fighting game that goes even further beyond. Pair this with an incredibly easy to grasp control scheme, and you'll be flying around the stages, recreating classic moments in virtually no time, especially with the dramatic intros and finishes, providing an in-game recreation or reimagining of famous moments from the anime. Dragon Ball FighterZ presents an experience unlike any other, ensuring that when it all comes together, you feel like you are Goku.
If you had told me in January that my favorite game this year was going to be a super challenging, twitchy platformer, I would not have believed you. By all accounts, I should have bounced off of Celeste. After minute 90 of being stuck on the same screen trying to get the perfect jump, I should have set down my Switch. After 2 hours trying to collect all the strawberries in one particular level, I should have just given up on it. And yet, something kept pulling me back and kept me going up the mountain. Maybe it was the gorgeous pixel art, or wanting to see more of the wonderful storyline, or hear more of the bumping soundtrack, but I couldn't put this game down no matter how many times I died. Celeste turns difficulty into something compelling rather than frustrating. Finally, after dozens of deaths, having a screen click, suddenly pulling off flawless jump after flawless jump, and making my way in one fluid motion to the other side of the screen is the best feeling a game has given me all year. At the end of the game, I had 6,271 deaths, but I reached that fucking summit.